Us humans, and more specifically men, desire trivial pursuits to accomplish tangible challenges that require immense involvement. I believe this inherent desire has built my foundation for long-distance overland travel. Weekend trips are certainly nice, but there's something so desirable about planning out a few 100-mile journey and testing my ability to tackle it in a short window of time. That has been what this trip was all about to begin with, creating the most diverse trek through the greatest parts of the state and seeing a little bit of everything it has to offer. And by our third morning, my doubts of completing this route were beginning to rise.
Oh yeah.
I'm afraid if I try to pass him off.
No, I was just Yeah.
I slept better. I wasn't freezing.
I wasn't that cold. Actually, I wasn't cold at all. I slept wonderful.
That's right, because you slept in your underwear the other night.
It's super diverse.
Crazy.
I never would have thought stuff like this was in New Mexico. I thought it was just brown shades bright.
Yeah, a pack of crows is a murder.
That's right.
Murder. Just like usually like pronghorn sheep or not. Hers is different than ours.
About the same age that they are. And I still have those prints.
So, as you all know, I like to plan my routes way out in advance. I've had this one planned for at least 2 months, just really anticipating it, trying to get every location dialed in. And I'm officially naming this route the Colorado, New Mexico Backcountry Discovery Route. I know there's BDRs all over the state, but this one is just a beautiful expanse of seeing a bit of southern Colorado into northern New Mexico. We've got these great aspen thickets out here. Now we're going to be dropping in elevation, so it's a pretty decent discovery route if you're trying to get a little bit of everything that both these states have to offer. And it would be impossible for me to plan out these expansive routes without onX. I have routes planned out, saved into the software for the next 2 years at least, and I know exactly where I'm going to be going. You take these routes ahead of time, you plug them into onX. As you go and you research these areas more, you're able to do reroutes, and using the 3D feature, I was able to find this spot last night on the fly. I can see exactly this ridge line with the 3D mode, and that's what leads us into these beautiful camp spots, because I can see we're up on a ridge, we have a beautiful valley down below, and without onX, it would be really hard to do that. I've also noticed that the software does a really good job at defining closed roads. So when you see a closed road pop up on the app, just understand that it likely is closed, and onX has done a really good job figuring out what's open and what's not. We run into some spots where there is a yellow road stated and it hasn't been recorded. onX still recognizes it as a road, but the county or Forest Service has actually closed it. So stuff like this is the reason why I have onX, because you can reroute on the fly. You can change where you're going, you can figure out what's going to be the best spot in advance. And without the software, I would have a really hard time planning this stuff out. So if you guys don't have it yet, I suggest you hop on the app, try it out for 7 days. If you really like it, I really love the premium features, seeing the private property, and I enjoy the topographical map a little more on it. It's a little more detailed. They have great satellite imaging. And if you don't have it yet, WDO20 gets you 20% off. You help me out. I want to help you guys out and bring you the best mapping software in the game, especially for the Four Corner states. Everything else is unmatched. onX is the way to go, guys. So come on over to my Patreon. I will copy you the exact route I take, and you have all of this right at your fingertips. So take my word, guys. It's awesome stuff. All right, well, we're all packed up, day 3, getting ready to head out. It's pushing 9 o'clock right now, so we're a little late on schedule. We have about 140 miles of dirt to cover today. We are gonna hop on the 25 and go south a good distance, but from there we're gonna take it west and go towards Abiquiu, whatever you wanna call it, towards that reservoir, work up into Chama Canyon, go explore around there, Like I said, a lot of ground to cover. We're a little bit behind schedule, but it is what it is.
Looks like we're starting to break out of this tree line now. Looks like we're kind of headed down into some flatlands.
That's badass. Love the change in scenery. Starting to get some diversity.
That big hump out in the distance is San Antonio Mountain. That's what we could see yesterday from the rim of that Cruces Basin with that big overlook. Looks like we're coming up on some sort of cattle roadblock. There's like at least 40 head here.
This reminds me of stuff you see in the cowboy movies about New Mexico.
They must be driving them down from the summer to winter pasture. We're definitely in like cowboy country now. I think we're about a mile out from El Rito, and these are the kind of towns I was talking about, scattered like this all over the New Mexico backcountry.
The old architecture is really cool to see. Seems like not much has changed.
I love exploring this, but there's not much I find less interesting than rolling pinion forests. It's a bit redundant, but I think once we break over this mountaintop, a lot should change.
When life becomes stale and stagnant, naturally we seek something greater, for some of us at least. Many of us choose the complacent path. We work the 9 to 5, on the weekends the only escape is a bar to watch a football game and then return home and repeat. Week after week, it's all the same, but I believe that notion comes from the people we surround ourselves with. If that's what you choose, there's nothing wrong with it, but your soul yearns for much more. The feeling for more is innate. Our ancestors never desired for bread and circuses, but an overpowering governing body would keep us complacent to keep our minds stagnant. The conscious earthly state is ego, and the subconscious state not of this world is the soul. When we allow our egos to take hold, our souls subside. But when we kill the ego, our desire for something greater outcompetes earthly desires. This is the foundation of adventure, to find something greater than ourselves, to humble the mind to a concept far greater than what we can perceive. I believe that wilderness alone can reconnect the soul to a deeper meaning of spirituality. Whether it's realized or not, you're feeding the light inside of you you may have never realized was there in the first place. Dipping into the valley of the Abiquiu Reservoir, the geographical formations took a dramatic change. It reminded me of a unique beauty I could only relate to the canyons around Zion National Park, and the canyon itself was very similar to the barracks area of Utah. Stunning shale and sandstone outcroppings pushing up from the earth and into the sky. Where the horizon line of the ridge meets the setting sun, it's a humbling reminder that the depth of nature has an interwoven connection between us and something far greater. For centuries, our perseverance for adventure has been founded on something much more profound than travel alone, but a desire to seek a meaningful answer for our existence. Every bend in the road shows a new visualization. Behind every shale canyon is an ancient mystery, something I believe our conscience drives us forward into. Not to answer those mysteries, but to allow a natural death of our ego in pursuit of returning our soul into its natural state. As the ancients would put it, the state of Tao. Well, we made it up here to the Chama Canyon, which I am absolutely enthused about. It's definitely a busy area. Lots of camp spots taken. There's a road that runs on the west side of the canyon, but there was a bridge that was closed, so we found and lucked out on this spot big time. This is a beautiful, beautiful area. And I'm sure you probably noticed we lost one in convoy. Dave and his wife Justine had to go home. They had obligations this weekend. They don't live too far from us now, so it worked out perfect. They got up here just in time to catch a couple nice days. Dave's been a Patreon member and a subscriber to my channel for a long time, along with Justine. Both exceptional people. Really glad we got to meet you guys. I'm sure you're watching this now. Absolute pleasure. You guys are great, and you're welcome to come back on any trip I plan ever. It's one of the really neat things about doing this whole YouTube thing, marketing myself on social media, all the different people I get to meet. You know, you sort of take a chance on different people. You never know what they're like, but when they come out, most of the time, I haven't met anyone I haven't liked yet. They're always good people. We have common interests. They love nature, and there's just something that always vibes with people who enjoy this same sort of thing. So I'm so grateful I can do this and make new memories and relationships with these awesome people. So Dave and Justine, I appreciate you guys coming out. Okay.
Okay.
That's my meal typically. You ready to eat?
Yeah. Pretty hot. It's making it blurry. See?
Yeah.
So it's not.
Alright guys, so this is my second trip with the A-Free 2400 watt power station, and I felt like I should chime in and tell you guys how well this thing is working for me. Last trip in the Chiricahuas, I didn't get to do a whole lot of charging with my batteries, but this trip I've charged 10 drone batteries which pull 200 watts each. I've charged my camera twice, GoPro, phone multiple times, all my lighting, and this thing is still at 40%, which I think is phenomenal. And I have to say, A-Free, you guys reached out at the perfect time, because taking these trips, I don't think I could do this on my old 300 watt box. 2400 watts could last me easily a week. I could plug this into the back of my truck, into my inverter, and charge it on the go. I haven't done that because I wanted to push this thing to the limits and see how much I can actually get out of it in 5 or 6 days. And so far, I am thoroughly impressed. The price point on these is amazing for the amount of power you get. 1,300 bucks roughly. With my code WHITEDOG10, you can get an additional 10% off. That brings the price down. So much cheaper than a lot that's on the market. Jackery, EcoFlow, crazy expensive. I highly suggest one of these. Check them out on their website, A-F-E-R-I-Y, A-Free. They have a great product. I thank you guys. I appreciate you sending me one of these. So I've really been able to test it out and see what it's all about, and it's working great. And with all my camera stuff, if you creators are out here, you're trying to charge up your power stations, use my code, get one of these. I promise you, you will not regret it. All right, so day 4 or 5, I don't even know. I've lost track at this point. We are in Abiquiu once again. It's kind of the last fuel up. There's really no fuel within like 75 square miles. So if you need fuel, you're following this route. Abiquiu is a stop. We are going to be heading south now into the Valles Caldera range, Santa Fe National Forest. Really excited to see that. I've obviously been there once. If you follow me long enough, you'd know that. But it's a place I can't come all the way up here without actually seeing it. It's just the beauty is gonna blow Alejandro's socks off, so I need to go show him that. And from there, we are going to be working to the west towards Cuba, down some trails. We were gonna stay another night. We've already been out here 5, so we're ready to get home and get cleaned up and have a Sunday. I kind of like to have my Sundays again. So, and it's about an 8-hour drive home, which is fine. I'd rather do that at night than Sunday all day. If you're here in Abiquiu, the Phillips, this is the only gas station, but it has this little food truck right here, or little food shop, whatever it is. It's called Fire and Ice. Excellent food. I suggest stopping here. Wonderful food. I just ate a big old turkey sandwich and now I'm good because we didn't cook breakfast. But of course, you know, if I'm within 15 miles of a little town, I gotta drop by and check out their food, and it was phenomenal. So stop by here, check out Fire and Ice, get yourself a coffee and a sandwich, and get up into the Caldera. This 4,000-foot climb up the backside of Encino Mountain takes you to one of the most spectacular vistas of the Valles Caldera. But if you didn't know this, at one point the inner workings of the trail system in the preserve were available for our type of visitation. In the year 2000, the Caldera was purchased as public land and placed under a trust with poor management. The manager heavily restricted visitations, hunting, fishing, and hiking, and the project was a failure. By 2014, lobbyists lobbied for the area to become part of the National Park Service, and although their success had came to fruition, there was a clause in the legislation allowing those who once managed under the trust to now manage as part of the national parks. And to no one's surprise, nothing had changed. The manager allows only 40 visitors a day, with purchased passes, but gives full access to hunters hauling in stock trailers and even allows them to use limited service roads. Yet, the people who just want to visit it for its beauty have the most limited access. Typical tyrants restricting us Americans from using the land we've been given permission to travel on. And it's our land. Why should we only be able to view it from the outside in? Fortunately, there are good people out there pushing back on this. And maybe one day, with their efforts, we can reclaim this area for the people. What do you think, dude? Pretty spectacular way to finish the trip. Yeah.
Looking at this and I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah. Can't really beat the Caldera. Depth for miles. Well, this is going to bring us to the end here of our almost 400-mile Colorado, New Mexico backcountry route. I figured this last place here on the Caldera would be a good spot to call it quits. This is my all-time favorite spot, probably ever. There's only one spot that rivals this, but it's top one of two maybe. So I can't drive all the way out here and not see this area. This is one of the most spectacular places I've ever been in my life. Starting in Pagosa, we drove 10.5 hours up from Arizona on Tuesday, pushed another 100 miles south out of the Elwood Pass down into New Mexico, Chama area, Brazos Ridge, even further south to the area we were last night, Chama Canyon, and then finally here. It's just, this is one of the greatest trips I've done in a long time, so it's going to go down in the books, and I hope you all really enjoyed this video as much as I did making it for you guys. So with that, I hope you give this a thumbs up and maybe a comment if you enjoyed it. If you have any places you want to see me go next, drop it down in the comment section and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching, guys.